Welcome in Spa for the penultimate round of the Clio Cup Benelux 2014. We're at the racing festival and one of the Clio 3 drivers is Martin Kool.
Martin Kool,
is the penultimate round of the Clio Cup Benelux here in Spa. And how are you qualifying? Yeah, qualifying was rather good. It was the first time I drive here at Spa. Free practice wasn't that good, but qualifying was better. So I'm in the middle with the Clio 3, so that's good. Yesterday the weather was fine, but today it's raining. How will that change the setup of the car? Yeah, it's a good question. It's a bit of mixed condition. I don't think it's wet enough, but we have to wait. Maybe it will rain even more. Peter Schreus is one of the front runners in the Clio 3 division. Peter, penultimate round of the here in Spa. Difficult conditions probably. What do you think for the race? Yes, I think everything can happen. It's wet, but it's not raining. So now we have one race ahead of us, and maybe those cars will drive the track. So it will be. I think it will be quite a bet on the tire choice, and that will determine whether you can go into the front or not. Niels Langeveld second in the championship, and in the absence of championship leader Sebastian Blekemolen, he can do a very good affair here.
Niels Langeveld,
penultimate round of the championship. You're second, but the first one isn't here, so you can take some points back. Yes, indeed, I can take some points, but there's always the result we can scrap. So your worst result of the season you can scrap at the end of the year. But yes, qualifying yesterday wasn't that good, so I was 7th and 4th for the two races. Now it's raining, so it can go any which way. I have never driven with this car in the rain, but I think more of the drivers are in the same case. I'm very curious. Starting with for race 1 then, with Melvin de Groot on pole. Next to him, Marcel Dekker, then Michael Blekemolen in 3rd, and Pim van Riet, the replacement driver for championship leader Sebastian Blekemolen, is in 4th on a wet Spa-Francorchamps. We take the start with Pim van Riet behind Marcel Dekker, and Van Riet immediately tries to take some places away from the guys in front of him. And there's a small contact with Marcel Dekker heading towards La Source, and Van Riet will try to go the long way round, but he might lose another place to Michael Blekemolen. Yes, indeed, but he can take some speed downhill towards Eau Rouge, and Van Riet is already in 2nd behind Melvin de Groot, who has taken a good start, and then Van Riet, then Marcel Dekker in 3rd, first of the junior drivers. And then the Clio 3 drivers, it's a bit of a hectic start there with car spinning in Combe, and that was car number 69, Jelle Belen, regaining now the track towards the through the service roads. Peter Schreus here fighting with Benjamin Vandenberg for first position in the Clio Challenge, which is reserved for the Renault Clio 3 model. Fighting through the double left corner. Meanwhile, still de Groot leading from Van Riet and Dekker. And then it's Régis Gosselin, the Belgian, who's in 4th. He started only 9th. We had a very good first lap, and he's in 4th already with Langeveld in 5th. Then Hazemans, Michael Blekemolen, Vandenberg, Niels Kool, and the rest of the pack. Very small differences between the Clio cars in this cup race. Marcel Dekker now overtaking Pim van Riet in La Source corner. Van Riet is not far behind. And there he is again, alongside Dekker, going side by side towards Eau Rouge and the Rédillon. It's not a corner you normally can take with two cars at a time, but these guys can. A lot of respect between the drivers in the Clio Cup Benelux. And Dekker and Van Riet still fighting hard towards Combe. And it will be Marcel Dekker or not who will take 2nd place. It's Dekker in the green Clio with the number 6. But Van Riet going on the other side now, trying to retake 2nd position. Meanwhile, Peter Schreus still fighting with Benjamin Vandenberg for 2nd now in Clio 3, because they're both passed by Wilbert Vandenberg in the 36 car. Schreus in 3rd now behind Benjamin Vandenberg. Benjamin Vandenberg missing his braking point there. And now it's Schreus in 2nd behind Wilbert Vandenberg. We had a bad starting position. We had a very good opening laps, and is now leading the Clio Challenge with the Clio 3 cars. Meanwhile, still Van Riet and Dekker fighting for 2nd position behind Melvin de Groot. And Régis Gosselin is regaining contact, just like Loris Hazemans, Michael Blekemolen, Robert Vandenberg. and the other cars, with Niels Langeveld dropping back to 10th or even 11th. He had a small contact with Robert van den Berg, and that had damaged his front suspension. The steering rack was a bit damaged. Gosselin, winner of the Renault Belgium steering wheel earlier this season. The youngster is only his first season in car racing. Always good at Spa, made a very good debut earlier this year. Heesmans now fighting to regain the position. He lost to Niels Kool. And Melvin de Groot, not troubled all through the race. In the final lap now, through the final chicane, with Van Rieten second from Dekker and Gosselin. And it's a victory for Melvin de Groot. Van Rieten second, then Dekker, Gosselin in fourth, and Niels Kool takes away fifth position. So a great win for Melvin de Groot in difficult conditions on a wet Spa-Francorchamps.
Melvin, proficiat and heel.
Melvin, congratulations, a nice win in difficult conditions. Yes, it was very difficult here because the track was half wet and half dry, and it was always slower because it was getting wetter all the time. At the early stages you could push hard, but at the end you had to be very careful. But fortunately I had a big lead, so I could control and drive a bit relaxed. And in the early stages the other drivers were fighting with each other, so I could take a lead. And when I had 20-30 meters, I could control my lead. Winning the Clio 3 division, Wilbert van den Berg.
Wilbert, proficiat.
Wilbert, congratulations, a nice win. How were the conditions? Yeah, to me they were very nice. I love driving in the wet and in the rain. And it was good for us because qualifying showed that we lacked some power. That's why we had some bad qualifying. And so when it would have been dry, we could have never managed this. But in the wet, I thought, yeah, I'll stay behind those guys because anything can happen. And then when they were fighting, they left a gap. So I overtook them both, and I controlled the lead afterwards. So Melvin de Groot winning from Van Rieten, Dekker in third, Gosselin fourth, and Niels Kool in fifth. Race number 2 then, with again Melvin de Groot on pole position, with Loris Heesemans next to him on the front row. Van Riet and Langeveld on start row number 2.
Joost,
Joost Custers, penultimate round of the championship. Difficult conditions. It will be an exciting race. Yes, we're on the starting grid of race 2. Race 1 was a beautiful race, fair fighting, no incidents. And it will be even wetter now today, so the Rainmeister will show what they can do. They will show who can drive on the wet tires. We'll see that in 30 minutes. Gilles Gosselin again, 9th position on the starting grid. Loris Heesemans was on the front row, but he completely misses his start. And he's passed by the complete starting field. It was his first front row position of the season. And completely missed his start. Robert van den Berg gained a position by that bad start from Heesemans. He climbed from 5th to 4th. And he's now chasing the leading trio, which Melvin de Groot is leading from Niels Langeveld. Niels Langeveld, who wants to have payback for that bad first race, and he wants to take some points away from championship leader Sebastian Blekemolen, absent because driving in Petit Le Mans, Road to Atlanta. Martin Kool fighting in the Clio 3 Challenge. Difficult conditions for everybody here. Marcel Dekker with Max Brahms, a small contact there in the Brussels corner. And Dekker has to stay behind, had a bad start. Is only in 8th position. Niels Langeveld, meanwhile, has taken the lead away from Melvin de Groot. Van Riet still in 3rd, and Robert van den Berg in 4th. Langeveld heading for 1st position, heading for a lot of points to make the end, the last meeting of the championship in Zandvoort, even more exciting. Robert van den Berg chasing Pim van Riet. Pim van Riet, who went over the curbstones there on the slippery AstroTurf. Still Langeveld leading from de Groot. Then Van Riet, van den Berg trying to keep up the contact. Gosselin 5th, good start from him. And then it's Marcel Dekker chasing Max Brahms. Still holding off the green Clio. Langeveld trying to create a gap towards de Groot, but that will not be easy. With Gosselin fighting with Van Riet for 3rd, and Dekker has passed Brahms. And Brahms is now under attack from Michael Blekemolen and Loris Heesemans, who has regained some places after his bad start. And then it's René Steenwets and Niels Kool. Heesemans here with Polderman. Oh, there's contact with the orange, white and black Clio of Polderman, and I think that spun him around. So another position gained for Loris Heesemans. Langeveld, meanwhile, has Van Riet behind him. De Groot has dropped the position, and now Van Riet is pushing and keeping the pressure on Langeveld, trying to push him into making a mistake, which would be very good for Sebastian Blekemolen, the driver, who is replacing Loris Heesemans behind Michael Blekemolen, the dad of Sebastian, as you all know, missing his braking point in corner, but getting back on track and leaving place for Heesemans to overtake him. Very experienced driver, of course, Michael Blekemolen. Dekker now with Vandenberg and Régis Gosselin. Can he take both of them in the braking zone for the chicane? Yes, he can. Good braking for Dekker. Still Langeveld leading from Van Riet, and Dekker is already in third position. He has passed De Groot as well. So good comeback from Dekker from 8th to 3rd. And has he got enough time left to gain another position, or maybe even 2? It doesn't look likely, because Langeveld and Van Riet are having quite a lead, and Dekker is under pressure. But here is Dekker just behind Van Riet, and Van Riet making a mistake in the double left corner, and Dekker can take advantage of that to overtake him. And there's only one driver now in front of him, and that's Niels Langeveld. Here we are in the final chicane. Can Dekker try something? It doesn't look likely. It will be Niels Langeveld winning this second race. But look at the small gaps between the top 6. So Langeveld winning it from Dekker. Then Van Riet with Vandenberg in 4th and Gosselin in 5th. A great second race here at the Racing Festival in Spa. And a great second place for Marcel Dekker.
Marcel, een mooie tweede plaats.
Marcel in nice second place. Was very exciting at the end. Yes, this was a great cup race. I was only 8th after the first lap because I couldn't see anything. But lap after lap, I could pick up speed and passing all the other drivers. It was a very good cup race. There was small contact, but everything remained fair, and at the end I almost won. But the guy who really won was Niels Langeveld. Yeah, this is a sweet revenge for this morning. I had free practice was well, but qualifying was abysmal with P7 and P4, so that was a big disappointment. And then I started the race in 7th position, but I had a contact with Vandenberg. Very unfortunate. I saw the images. It was a real racing incident. But then you have to start 4th in the second race. But then the first lap already took 3 guys. There's one guy stalling on the grid. I took one on the outside in La Source, and Melvin made a mistake at Combe. So at the end I was very happy because I consolidated my lead. So Langeveld winning it from Dekker, Van Riet, De Groot in 4th and Gosselin in 5th, and only 4 seconds behind the winner. And these are the standings before the final meeting at Zandvoort. Blekemolen leading with 8 points from Langeveld, De Groot in 3rd, Dekker in 4th and Gosselin in 5th. And that was it from Spa. See you next time.